Hola a todos y todas, les doy la bienvenida a Canalización Armonía. My name is Luz and I'll be doing a collective channeling for this full moon. These are collective downloads, intuitive messages paired up with tarot and oracle. I'll be showing you the cards in just a moment that I'll be shuffling live so I can really tune into this energy of the full moon today in the peak of it. Thank you for tuning in y ahorita nos vemos en las cartas. So starting with some sage just to clear up the space and inviting all deities, ancestors, archangels, benevolent cosmic families, elemental beings, spirit animals of highest vibration only to come into this reading to assist us with these messages for the collective right now for the full moon energy. So shuffling to get some general ideas first from tarot. Alright, so first card we got is the Two of Cups. Second card is the Eight of Swords. Alright. Third card, the Star. Okay, and I'm shuffling from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle. Okay, so what is the energy regarding Two of Cups, Eight of Swords, and the Star, please, Spirit? And thank you for the energy of this full moon. What are the collective messages that want to come through? Crown chakra. Okay, so we got the crown chakra. And all of this makes a little bit of sense because if you follow Vedic astrology, there is a slight change in the signs. Maybe this is a full moon where you want to dive into your Vedic astrology birth chart because things change a little bit, and the full moon per Vedic astrology in the east is Pisces, and then per Western astrology we have Aquarius sign on the full moon, which they're both pretty like mind oriented in a big part of their essence. Pisces is the dreamer, right? Aquarius is the innovator, the inventor, or the... I feel like both Pisces and Aquarius are actually realm bridgers for the collective. So if you have that strongly in your chart, or maybe you would want to look into your Western astrology chart as well, the traditional, conventional birth chart, and see where that is. And I'm saying this because crown chakra, you know, it connects you to the divine. Anything that maybe you haven't explored yet regarding what connects you to spirit, to anything that's higher than you, to source in essence, essentially, you know. And then you got the Star as well. So there's a sense of you might be someone that wants to get into this path of studying this or researching this, and perhaps just eventually sharing this. That might be part of your path, because I feel around this full moon you're realizing that some thought pattern is going to be transmuting and transforming. Some thought pattern that has to do with just self-victimizing, essentially. Or maybe you feel like somebody is making you feel like a victim, and you're gonna cut cords around this full moon. There might be... what else, Spirit? There is some anxiety, around this full moon, where you feel trapped, and then you're gonna cut the illusion of that. Cut cords, cut the strings that keep you like blinded, and see things for what they are, really. With the crown chakra, I would say obviously meditate. Write your dreams. Yeah, write down your dreams. Around this full moon, it might be a great time to even listen to some frequencies, get into some work that is gonna grind you. Definitely some still energy here, some stillness, something that's gonna keep you from being all overwhelmed and overstimulated with, your phone and doom scrolling and stuff like that. That's coming through for around this full moon. There might be somebody coming in around this full moon or reaching out. There might be some new partnerships, like perhaps business partnerships coming in with the Two of Cups here. And it's going to be really harmonious, really. Or you might be doing some sort of like clarification for yourself and get out of some doubt that you've been feeling. And this might be like something that has been hidden for so much time here with the star, and around this full moon, you're rediscovering yourself. Really, you're just remembering again. Yeah, there's something that you have been keeping. Even for a lot of you on this full moon, it's time to really seek deep for the desires you have been bearing. With the star, it's like there's something that you have been keeping. You know how she's covered up? I feel like that's the energy of somebody trying to hide their, how do you call them, their quirks, their talents, really. They have to do with your crown chakra. So all of these spiritual gifts, they're coming up, and like all of the, you don't have to fear your own anxiety anymore. You don't have to fear being so sensitive. You can really develop these amazing gifts, and perhaps you're gonna have like somebody mentoring you or helping you here with the Two of Cups. Yeah, there's something that you have buried so deep that you might not even know what this unexplored desire is yet. Just yet. So around this full moon, it's a time for exploration. Crown chakra again, that you might, like I was mentioning, this birth chart exploration, birth chart research about yourself. Or you can also be researching about your human design, or all of these things, that are spiritual. Like with Pisces and Aquarius, I feel like they really share this essence of magic. They encapsulate like keeping to yourself, being really reserved with all of what you do, your ritual, everything that is sacred to you. And Pisces, it is a water element. So just because of that, I feel like it makes sense for you to like go to a body of water perhaps around the full moon, or do these meditations, or dive deep into your unconscious, subconscious during your shower or your bath. Also, your communication is going to be getting better, alright? If this is like a conflict with someone here, it's going to be getting better. You're going to connect to the most divine for you in your perspective. And your perspective of the divine is going to be deepening around this full moon. There's such a strong energy that I feel like a lot of you might even feel like super tired right now, because it's like squeezing the bejizzles out of your spiritual mind or your etheric body. Maybe you've been dreaming a lot of things that have strong topics around it, and it's really heavy and it can be draining, okay? Perhaps you don't even remember your dreams. That's something else. Pisces energy, Perhaps you want to start recording your dreams. If it's hard to get up, look for pen and paper and turn on the light, etc., you might want to just do a voice recording. In the middle of the night, if you feel like, oh, I just had a strong nightmare, or I just had this amazing realization, this dream, or this is so uniquely specific. I wonder what it means. How when you wake up, you have those little moments through the night. If you do, a lot of you do. All right. So it's time to start recording those important messages that Spirit has been channeling through you. You have an amazing gift of receiving these downloads, these light codes from Spirit. And you're really intuitive. There's really no need to keep victimizing yourself and calling yourself weird or outcast or you don't belong. That's kind of like Aquarius energy, right? This full moon, you're gonna meet others that appreciate your gifts, okay? That really see you for who you are. And let me tell you, it's gonna be really harmonious. It's something that you've been needing that is coming through, and they're gonna be like, okay, you know what, I used to be a victim too. They're gonna tell you their story, and it's gonna resonate so much with you, and you're gonna be like, I don't need to hide anymore. I can share, and it's gonna feel really fulfilling, and it's gonna be like an energy of giving and receiving. It's not gonna be of empiric energy like you've experienced before. So around this full moon, try to write down that you let go of the fear of connecting again. Maybe let go of the fear of public speaking, anything that resonates around these topics that involve your connection to Spirit, to the most sacred, to God, to Source. And embody this earth angel energy that you really are. You really are, okay? Around this full moon, just realizing that, tapping into that energy is going to be super powerful for your mind and to transmute all of that worry, really worry of maybe what others people think, or of being persecuted. Of course, there's always that past life that lots of you listening right now had of being a persecuted witch, regardless of your gender. That is real. That happened, and we have a long lineage, There is that part of our history, and even perhaps cosmic history, because we have the Lemurian deck. You were persecuted, Lemurians were persecuted, taken away from their peaceful, earth-loving ways, from their families. Anything that you feel like that's transmuted, okay? There's a big timeline jump. And around this full moon, you're tapping into it. You're saying yes to that train, and you're grabbing somebody's hand. Perhaps even a group of people. You're grabbing their hand and going into the train of liberation. All right? Yeah, there's a lot of unity energy, and maybe you're bringing your own ways with Aquarius energy, innovating new ways of doing this uniquely, What else, Spirit? What else is coming through? If this is financial, about a job, you're gonna be independent from anything that was holding you back in your job, in your career, in your occupation, essentially your purpose. You're gonna be propelled forward, and I'm seeing the arrows right now. It reminds me of Sagittarius and how they pull an arrow and then it just propels it, right? You feel pulled back a little bit, and now bam, you're gonna be propelled forward and expand and share these gifts that you were meant to share and not keep to yourself, really, because they can become overwhelming when you're not letting that flow, right? Anything, all of these downloads flow through you to the earth, but also to the cosmos, and also to your relations. That's important as well. Cool. There's going to be a lot of accountability if you fear, or you're just like, I'm done with this. I'm done with trying because there was so much disappointment before. And whatever you're working towards, or maybe something that you feel like you failed at, there's going to be accountability for that. And you don't need to worry, Source, the divine, they do their work. The universe gets it. Okay, God got it. Your ancestor got it. Yeah, maybe there's an ancestor. I'm feeling a strong feminine energy around this full moon that wants to contact you, that wants to open that window, maybe even through your dreams, and tell you, hey, you can undo those cords. You can untie yourself. It's like you don't know you can untie yourself. Come on with me. Your ancestor is saying, yeah, I feel a strong feminine warrior of light energy here. And through the crown, so maybe through a meditation as well. Maybe when you're just in the limbo, falling asleep as well. When you're listening to a frequency, which is meditation too. When you're just staring at the ocean waves going back and forward, maybe they're going to reach out in there. And whatever thoughts you have in that moment, it's going to be them. It's going to be your ancestra talking to you, or ancestro. And they're going to be like, it's time to grab your arrows, light warrior. You cannot victimize yourself anymore. Around this full moon, you're realizing you always have the power and the gifts to go forward through anything you're going. Let me get you an affirmation card to close up. I dare to love a little more. Beautiful. I dare to love a little more. And loving yourself includes getting yourself out of this cage and expanding and sharing your gifts, and perhaps even welcoming in company. I dare to love myself more. And last one. Okay. You survived. Cool. You survived. You did what you had to do. This is not to blame yourself or to be, very self-punishing. None of that. You survived. And if you needed to hide this whole time to survive, then that's what you had to do. Now it's time to get out of that survival mode. It's gonna take time and patience, but now you realize this. Yeah, open your crown to receiving these messages, this change of perspective, and it will help you actually manifest in the physical, the actions, and the hope, the motivation. All right, I'm not saying that magically you will get a magic wand and manifest something, but it will activate your motivation, your willpower, your empowerment. And the last message I'm getting from Spirit right now as I say this is that the energy comes down from the crown. Then we all know that that's the 7th chakra, or most of us, if you didn't know. Crown chakra is your top of the head, the connection to the divine 7th chakra. Then we go down to the forehead, 3rd eye chakra, then to your throat chakra, then your high heart chakra, in between the throat and heart, then the heart chakra, then the solar plexus chakra at your navel, then the sacral chakra in your pelvic area, then the root chakra at the base of your spine. Anything that has to do with your feet too, feeling secure, stable, financially secure, like anything that makes you feel like you can get out of survival mode and relax. That is a balance of the root chakra. that's coming through. But my point with all of this was that the energy shall come first through the crown chakra. There is a misconception that you first have to balance your root chakra, then your sacral, and then going up, you know, from the bottom of your body up, so you can open your crown. But if you think about it, rebalancing and activating your crown chakra, and then your third eye, your crown, your connection to divine, knowing everything is possible. The knowing, sacred knowing, knowledge, Akashic records, past life knowing, dreaming about your past lives. All of this, all right? It is what it is. And then the third eye chakra, you activate your intuition. You can see clearly in the physical right now, in the 3D, in the material world, right? Then the throat chakra, you actually speak about it. You speak. You do your spells, you write it down, you write music, you say your mantras, your affirmations. I dare to love a little more. You survived. Yeah. And then it goes down to your heart. You actually can open your heart. The heart is like squeezed down. You know, you're like protecting it so much. You don't want to open up because you can't see, because your intuition in the third eye, the crown chakra and the upper chakras are not really balanced and harmonized. So there's a need to know that around this full moon that you can work on these upper chakras first and then going down. After the heart chakra, after you are compassionate and forgiving of yourself because you survived, you did what you had to do, and forgiving of others, then you can activate your solar plexus at the navel, your willpower, to really transmute anything, your force as a warrior that you are, to get out of the hole that you're at. Then you can keep going down your chakras, you know, and then your sacral chakra, your navel, your creativity, your sensuality, your sexual harmonization with relationships, and not just romantic, but also like community, family relationships, anything that has to do with that, and your creativity, your childlike self-expression, and of course, your warrior, light warrior, adult expression as well in the sacral chakra. Alright, your vitality, that all of that will automatically turn on, and down we go to the root chakra, which allows you to be stable in every sense. Mentally, emotionally, physically, your health, financially as well, secure, knowing that you can relax in your day-to-day life. You don't have to rush every day to do something because you feel unsafe. All of the realization is coming around this full moon for you to research and go dive into. And essentially this sacred knowing is going to activate that, okay? Going down. Your crown chakra is very important. Again, it makes sense because Spirit is portraying the example of, yes, you meditate, you start to quiet your mind, your monkey mind, and then everything else is good. And then you can see things clearly, or you can really see and feel the empowerment. Like, yes, I'm gonna do this project. Nobody wanted to do it with me. I don't care. I'm connected to Source. I'm invincible. I'm a light warrior. Yeah, I'm gonna start it by myself. All that energy, and then you go down to being like financially abundant to be able to do this, your mission. So that's something, food for thought, to think about around this full moon. That's all that's coming through. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.